Neither the history of the Bernabéu, nor the roar of the stands, nor the fangs of Real Madrid could stop him. Lionel Messi didn't just play Clásicos, he devoured them. 26 goals, 26 wounds to the pride of the men in white. This is the story of the monster who swallowed Madrid. We will go match by match through the 26 goals Messi scored against Real Madrid. Hat-tricks, braces, impossible free kicks, ice-cold penalties, and assists that humiliated defenses. Every date has its story, its pain for the rival fans, and its glory for number 10. Buckle up. We're going chronologically from 2007 to 2018. Let's begin. Season 2006-2007, League match. On March 10, 2007, in the Clásico at the Camp Nou, Leo was just a 19-year-old kid, short, skinny, with long hair and a shy look. Many saw him as a prospect, Ronaldinho's partner, someone who would shine someday. But that night at the Camp Nou, against Real Madrid, Messi stopped being a promise and became a nightmare. The Clásico kicked off at a furious pace. Madrid struck first, and every attack was a dagger. But there he was. Every time he touched the ball, he went straight at Helguera, at Cannavaro, at any white shirt that crossed his path. And in the 11th minute, the first one arrived. Quick move, left-footed finish, and the equalizer. The kid from Rosario celebrated his first Clásico goal. Madrid took the lead again, and once more, La Pulga responded. At just 19 years old, calm like a veteran, he pounced on a loose ball inside the box and made it 2-2. 2 goals, 2 answers. The Camp Nou was roaring, but the best was saved for the end. Minute 88. Madrid were winning 2-3, and the crowd was already resigning itself. But not Messi. He received the ball, took on his man without fear, and blasted a left-footed shot past Casillas. Hat-trick and equalizer. 3 goals in his first big Clásico, 3 daggers into the eternal rival. The stadium exploded. That day, all of Spain understood he wasn't just another kid. He was the monster who had begun to devour Real Madrid. A 19-year-old had matched Van Nistelrooy, saved his team from defeat, and written the first great page of a story that would hurt Madrid for more than a decade. On March 10, 2007, the White Nightmare was born. Lionel Andrés Messi. Season 2008-2009. Spanish League Clásicos. Another showdown at the Camp Nou. 2008 was a year of change. Barcelona unveiled a new coach, a young Pep Guardiola who arrived surrounded by doubts, but who little by little turned the team into a footballing machine. And in that first Clásico of the Pep era, the Camp Nou was waiting for a sign, a statement win. Madrid, as always, stood firm. Casillas saved everything, the white defense clung to the draw, and time was slipping away. But in the 83rd minute, Samuel Eto'o appeared to break the deadlock and ignite the stadium. Barça were in front, but the final blow was still missing. And that blow had a first and last name, Lionel Messi. Minute 92. With Madrid fully committed to the attack in search of an equalizer, Barça win the ball back and launch the counter. Henry draws defenders, Good Johnson threads a perfect pass, and Messi is left one-on-one with Iker Casillas. The Argentine finishes with ice-cold calm, the ball floats over the goalkeeper and rolls into the empty net. Goal. 2-0. The Camp Nou explodes. Messi runs toward the stands, arms wide open, a defiant smile on his face. The celebration was a message. I'm no longer the shy kid now, I'm the executioner. That goal didn't just seal the win. It was the symbol that the Guardiola-Messi era was only just beginning, and that Madrid would have to suffer it for a long time. On December 13, 2008, at the Camp Nou, Messi made it clear that the Clásico didn't weigh on him. On the contrary, it made him bigger. And May 2, 2009 was not just another Clásico, it was an invasion, it was a humiliation. It was the night when Guardiola's Barcelona turned the Santiago Bernabéu into their own playground. Madrid arrived with pride, still dreaming of fighting for the league title. The Bernabéu pushed, confident that the eternal rival would suffer on its turf. And at first it seemed possible. Higuaín put the hosts ahead and euphoria echoed through Chamartín. But that goal was the spark that ignited the Blaugrana storm. First, Henry equalized. Then, in the 20th minute, Messi appeared, disguised as a false nine, to finish off a magical move and turn the score around. It was 1-2, and silence began to creep through the stands. Piqué and Henry tore Madrid apart down the flanks. Xavi ruled the midfield, and Messi was the executioner. Minute 35, a perfectly weighted through ball, a flawless assist to Henry for the 1-3. Madrid couldn't understand what was happening. The second half was a festival. Ramos pulled one back to make it 2-3, but barely a minute later, Messi, with his trademark left foot, plunged the dagger in again. 2-4. The innocent smile of a 21-year-old was transforming into the face of an eternal nightmare for the Bernabéu. Barça showed no mercy. Puyol with a header, Piqué sealing the rout. 2-6. A massacre. An indelible scar in the history of Real Madrid. And there was Messi, with 2 goals and an assist, leading the greatest humiliation the Bernabéu has ever lived in a modern Clásico. That night, the world understood that the greatest Barcelona in history had been born, and that Lionel Messi would, from then on, be the owner of the Clásicos. Season 2009-2010. La Liga Clásico. The Santiago Bernabéu was on a war footing. Pellegrini's Madrid, with Cristiano Ronaldo newly arrived, saw this Clásico as the chance to snatch the league title from Barça. It was an early final. Whoever won would take the championship. The tension was sky high. Cristiano pushed forward, the crowd roared, but Guardiola's Barcelona didn't flinch. Xavi controlled the tempo. Busquets and Alves sustained the pressure, and Messi waited for his moment. Minute 33. A move that seemed harmless turned into a dagger. Xavi combines with Messi, lifts his head, and delivers a surgical pass over the white defense. Messi, like a ghost, slips between Ramos and Albiol. He controls with his chest, looks up, and with the cold-blooded calm of a silent killer, finishes low and across goal with his right foot past Casillas. Goal. 0-1. The Bernabéu fell silent. Once again, the 22-year-old Argentine kid did whatever he wanted in Madrid's house. The rest was total control. Barça passed and passed, driving their rival to desperation. And in the second half, Pedro made it 0-2 after another brilliant assist from Xavi. That night, Barcelona took the win, the league, and Messi added another white scar to his collection. With a single goal, he once again showed that at the Bernabéu his hand never trembled, that on the contrary, he grew even bigger. On April 10, 2010, Real Madrid asked itself once again, how do you stop Lionel Messi? Season 2010-2011, League and Champions League Clásicos. On November 29, 2010, the Camp Nou was the stage for one of the most humiliating nights in the history of the Clásicos. Guardiola versus Mourinho, the new era against the coach who promised to stop the greatest Barça of all time. The result was an unforgettable dance, 5-0. And although Messi didn't score, his signature was everywhere on the field. Operating between the lines, with total freedom, he dismantled Madrid with intelligence and magic. In the 55th minute came the pass that split the white defense apart. Messi assisted David Villa with surgical precision, and Villa beat Casillas to make it 3-0. And just minutes later, history repeated itself. Messi again, Villa again, another dagger. He didn't score goals, but he created the play. Every touch was an unsolvable problem, every pass a sentence. Sergio Ramos hit him hard at the end of the match and slapped Puyol, unable to contain the anger and rage of the Blaugrana humiliation. And Leo walked off hurt, but applauded by his people, while a humiliated Cristiano Ronaldo looked on as the Barça fans chanted the name of number 10. That night, the Camp Nou vibrated like never before, and Madrid was left shattered. The 5-0 wasn't just a rout, it was a declaration of war. And Messi, without scoring, was the invisible architect of the humiliation. Then, in the return match, the Clásico arrived in the middle of the battle for the league, with a hungry Madrid and a Barcelona determined not to let go of the top spot. The atmosphere at the Bernabéu was suffocating, every ball played as if it were the last. And in the middle of that tension, Messi appeared. Penalty in the 53rd minute. With all the pressure on him, Casillas in front of him, and a stadium roaring. La Pulga took a breath, walked toward the ball, and sent it into the back of the net with the calm of a sniper. No nerves, no doubts, just ice-cold blood. That goal didn't bring victory, but it was a psychological blow. In the rival's temple, Messi once again made it clear that neither pressure nor screams could destabilize him. A draw that weighed heavily in the league, and a reminder, Messi doesn't just shine in magical plays, he also shines in the heated moments where you need ice in your veins. And after having lost the Copa del Rey final with that agonizing goal by Cristiano Ronaldo at Mestalla, Real Madrid grew in confidence and awaited Barça in the semi-finals of the most important European competition. On April 27, 2011, the Champions League put the Giants face-to-face in the semi-finals. Mourinho versus Guardiola, Cristiano versus Messi, the entire world watching. The first half was a tight battle, full of tension, fouls, and controversy. But in the second half, genius tipped the balance. Minute 76. Afellay burst down the wing and crossed into the heart of the box. Messi appeared like a lightning bolt, beat Sergio Ramos to the ball, and tapped it in for 0-1. Total silence in Chamartín. But the best was still to come. Minute 87. Messi received the ball 3/4 up the field from Busquets, cut diagonally, left Las, Sergio Ramos, and Marcelo behind, and finished while falling with his right foot past Casillas. A historic goal. That second strike wasn't just a goal. It was a European dagger that practically sealed qualification for the Wembley final. In the house of the eternal rival, in the Champions League semi-finals, Messi put on the suit of a silent assassin. 2 goals that echoed throughout Europe and confirmed it. On the biggest nights, he was always there. Season 2011-2012, Spanish Super Cup and Copa del Rey. On August 14, 2011, the Spanish summer brought a Clásico in the Super Cup, but it wasn't a friendly in disguise. It was war. Madrid and Barça, face-to-face, in mid-August. With the intensity of a Champions League final, Real Madrid came wounded from that Champions League semi-final elimination and wanted revenge. In that context, Messi appeared once again, as always. First, with the vision of a surgeon, he set up David Villa for a brutal shot into the top corner. The 1-1 lit up the night. And when the match demanded personality, Messi delivered it. Near the end, with the white defense disorganized, he pounced on a loose ball inside the box and turned it into a goal. The Bernabéu fell silent. 1 goal, 1 assist, and a clear message. Even if it was summer, Messi didn't take vacations. The Super Cup already had a moral owner, and he wore Blaugrana. And in the second leg, the battle was decided at the Camp Nou, and Messi decided that trophy was staying home. First, with a masterful pass, he left Iniesta one-on-one to open the scoring. Then, as if the script were written, he scored twice at key moments. One to restore the lead, from a pass by Gerard Piqué. Inside the box, Messi left the entire white defense on the ground and Cristiano Ronaldo on his knees for an epic photo to be remembered for history, and another goal in the final minutes, lifting the entire crowd at the Camp Nou and thus sealing the 3-2 victory and the Spanish Super Cup title. It was a heated match, with clashes, shoves, and even red cards. But while Madrid lost its head, Messi kept his calm and efficiency. 2 goals, 1 assist, and the Super Cup lifted at the Camp Nou. La Pulga once again showed that even in August, when others are just warming up, he was already devouring finals. And on January 18 of that same year, in the Copa del Rey quarter-finals, El Clásico was also played in that competition, and Messi decided to put on the assistant's role. Madrid struck first with a goal from Cristiano, but Barça never gives up. In the second half, after Carles Puyol's equalizer from a Xavi pass, Messi appeared to invent magic. He controlled the ball, lifted his head, and threaded a surgical pass to Eric Abidal, who finished with cold precision. A fullback scoring at the Bernabéu thanks to the genius of number 10. The match ended 1-2 and Barça left the tie well on track. There was no goal from him, but there was the pass that silenced the stadium and opened the door to the semi-finals. In the Copa as well, he rules, Messi doesn't need to score to be the executioner. His vision is enough for the rival to fall. Season 2012-2013, Spanish Super Cup and La Liga Clásico. On August 22, 2012, at the Camp Nou, the Spanish Super Cup was played between the eternal rivals. The season was just beginning, but there was already fire at the Camp Nou. A Super Cup played like a Champions League final, with intensity, controversy, and tension in every ball. Messi, as always, took responsibility. Penalty in the 70th minute, the stadium silent, Casillas on his line, and La Pulga standing over the ball. With the cold-blooded calm that defines him, he fooled the goalkeeper and buried the temporary 3-1. That goal wasn't just a strike from the spot. It was the spark that ignited another summer war between Barça and Madrid. The score ended 3-2, but the message was clear. Messi was still the owner of the Clásico, even in August. And on August 29, 7 days later, the second leg awaited us, where Real Madrid wanted revenge. The Bernabéu wanted blood, and Messi gave it to them, but in his own way, with art. Higuaín and Cristiano opened the scoring, and Madrid took control with a 2-0 lead that ignited the stadium and its fans. But there was Leo, hungry for more. Shortly before half-time, from a long-range free kick, Messi took his run-up, struck with surgical precision, and the ball curled into Casillas' top corner. A legendary goal, impossible to stop, that silenced half the stadium and forced the world to applaud. Madrid won the title on aggregate, but Messi's jewel was etched forever into history. It was a reminder that even in defeat, La Pulga always found a way to shine. That day he didn't win the trophy, but he did win the technical battle. The free kick masterpiece was the image of the night. 1 month later, on October 7 at the Camp Nou in a league match, we once again crossed paths with the Whites. It was a cinematic Clásico, Messi versus Cristiano, the two best players on the planet face to face, and the afternoon did not disappoint. With Barça behind on the scoreboard, Messi appeared as the savior. He pounced on a rebound inside the box and equalized with killer instinct, but he wasn't satisfied. Minute 61, free kick on the edge of the area, left foot ready, and the ball rocketed into Casillas' net. A stunning goal that made the Camp Nou explode. It seemed like Messi's night, but Cristiano responded with another goal and the match ended 2-2. It was a war of geniuses, a duel at the summit of world football. Two works of art in one afternoon, and still it wasn't enough to win. That is the eternal drama of the Clásico. Even when you shine, the rival always responds. To close out the Clásicos, on March 2, 2013, at the Santiago Bernabéu, in the middle of the 2012-2013 season, Madrid hosted Barça with the confidence of having won in the Copa days earlier. The atmosphere was hostile, the Bernabéu roared, and Barça couldn't find a way to impose themselves. Messi, however, left his mark. With 17 minutes on the clock, he received the ball at the edge of the box, drove forward, and finished with power to score the temporary equalizer. A goal that made him the all-time top scorer in Clásico history, surpassing Di Stefano. Madrid went on to win 2-1, with goals from Benzema and Ramos, but the statistic was tattooed forever. Messi kept writing his name in golden letters against the eternal rival. You don't always win, but even in defeat, his left foot left scars. Season 2013-2014, La Liga Clásico, Santiago Bernabéu. On March 23, the Bernabéu turned into a volcano. Real Madrid and Barcelona arrived for the Clásico with the league on the line, Cristiano and Messi at their absolute peak, and an electric atmosphere that promised a historic showdown. Barça struck first. Messi, with an architect's vision, threaded an impossible pass to Iniesta, who blasted past Diego Lopez to make it 0-1. But Madrid responded immediately through Benzema, who scored twice and turned the score around. The stadium was boiling. Then La Pulga appeared. In the 42nd minute, with ice-cold composure, he pounced on a rebound inside the box and leveled the match. 2-2 at half-time, everything still to be decided. In the second half, Madrid took the lead again with a Cristiano penalty, but Messi was not willing to surrender. From the spot, he fooled the goalkeeper and made it 3-3. And when time was running out, fate found him once more. Another penalty for Barca, another chance for Leo, a lethal left foot, and the final 3-4. The Bernabéu fell silent. Messi, with 3 goals and 1 assist, delivered one of the greatest Clásicos of all time. That hat-trick wasn't just a victory, it was a declaration of supremacy. Messi became the all-time top scorer in Clásico history, and he did it in the house of his eternal rival. 3 goals, 1 assist, and an eternal message. On the biggest nights, Messi always answers. Season 2016. La Liga Clásico. Santiago Bernabéu. The 2015-2016 season brought a different moment. Messi was coming off a difficult injury without his usual shine, and Barca arrived at the Bernabéu full of doubts. But what happened that night was historic. The team, led by Neymar, Iniesta, and Luis Suarez, delivered a monumental exhibition. The Uruguayan opened the scoring, Neymar extended the lead, and Iniesta made it 0-3 with a stunning goal that even drew applause in enemy territory. And then came the emotional moment. In the 56th minute, Messi came off the bench. The Bernabéu, aware it was witnessing the living legend of the Clásico, welcomed him with an ovation. Even though he wasn't at 100%, his mere presence changed the atmosphere. In the final stretch, with Madrid broken, Leo took part in the play that ended in the 0-4, finished by Suarez. He didn't score, but his stamp was there. That Clásico wasn't remembered for his goals, but for something deeper. Even injured, even limited, Messi was capable of silencing the Bernabéu just by stepping onto the pitch. An ovation from the rival fans, a historic rout, and an eternal message. The Clásico was also his, even without appearing on the stat sheet. Season 2017. La Liga Clásico. Santiago Bernabéu. On April 23, 2017, the Santiago Bernabéu was on fire. It was a decisive Clásico. Madrid arrived as league leaders. Barca needed a win to stay alive in the title race. Cristiano, Ramos, Marcelo, every spotlight was on a clash of titans. And in the middle of that storm, Messi appeared to write one of the greatest pages of his career. In the 33rd minute, after a hard blow from Marcelo that split his lip open, Leo answered with football. He controlled the ball inside the box, evaded defenders, and finished calmly to make it 1-1. With that goal, he reached 500 goals for Barcelona. But the best was still to come. The match was a thriller. Rakitic put Barca ahead, Ramos was sent off, James Rodriguez equalized for Madrid in the 85th minute, the stadium exploded, and it seemed the draw was inevitable. Then came minute 92 and 48 seconds. Sergi Roberto burst forward from his own half, cut through lines, played it wide to André Gomes, who found Jordi Alba, cut back, and Messi appeared alone, serene, as if time stood still. With his left foot, he placed the ball into the far post beyond Keylor Navas. Goal. The Bernabéu went silent. Messi ran to the corner, lifted Barca's jersey, and held it up in front of the rival stands. An immortal celebration, a gesture that traveled around the world. Number 10 saying, "I am here." That night, Messi signed one of the most legendary chapters in Clásico history, a brace, a goal in the 93rd minute, and an eternal image that became an icon of his career. April 23, 2017, was etched in history as the day the Bernabéu surrendered to Messi's silence. Season 2017-2018, Spanish Super Cup and La Liga Clásicos. On August 13, 2017, the Camp Nou prepared for the Super Cup, a summer match, but one that always burned like a final. Barca wanted to assert dominance at home, and Messi took responsibility. In the second half, with the score against them, the referee pointed to the spot. Leo took the ball, took a deep breath, and fooled Keylor Navas with his flawless left foot. The 1-1 reignited hope, and the stadium roared with its captain. But the joy was short-lived. Madrid, with Cristiano in beast mode, responded with a stunning goal that silenced the Camp Nou and ended the tie with an imposing 1-3. Messi had scored, yes, but it was one of those strange nights when his goal wasn't enough, when the feeling was personal victory and collective defeat, a bitter snapshot in the eternal rivalry. Then, on December 23, 2017, in a league match on white territory. It was Christmas Eve, and the Clásico arrived like an explosive gift. The Bernabéu was full. Madrid were European champions, and Barça were looking to strike a decisive blow in the league. La Pulga didn't fail. In the second half, after a clear penalty, he took the ball and executed with ice in his veins. 0-2 on the scoreboard, and silence in the capital. But the final signature was still missing. In the last play of the match, Messi surged down the right, broke through defenders, and when everyone expected his shot, he surprised everyone with a surgical assist without one of his boots for Aleix Vidal, who sealed the 0-3. A gesture of generosity and total dominance. That day, Barça didn't just win, they humiliated their rivals on their own ground, and Messi, with a goal and an assist, stood as the undisputed master of the Bernabéu. The image of that December 23 was clear: Christmas in Blaugrana. And to close Leo's epic against the eternal rival, on May 6, 2018, the Camp Nou hosted a vibrant Clásico. Barça were already league champions, but their motivation against the eternal rival was intact. Madrid wanted to ruin the party, and Messi wasn't going to allow it. Minute 52. At the edge of the box, surrounded by Ramos and Casemiro, Leo worked his magic. He feinted, sent both to the ground, and with his lethal left foot, unleashed a precise shot that buried itself in the net. A goal from another planet, one that only he could invent. The match ended 2-2, with tension and controversy. But what remained in memory was that play. Messi dancing in front of the White Giants and leaving behind an eternal goal. That day, there was no victory on the scoreboard, but there was one for the eyes, a thunderous strike that was forever tattooed into Clásico history. 26 times, history wrote his name over Madrid. It wasn't luck, it was genius, cold-bloodedness, and repetition. Messi didn't just score goals against Madrid, he stuck his tongue out at them. If you enjoyed this journey through all his goals and epic nights, get ready because the story continues. YouTube is recommending another video to you right now that you can't miss. And believe me, if you made it this far, that video is for you. So you know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell so you don't miss my next video, How Barcelona Betrayed Its Best Player. Do you want me to release it? Tell me down below in the comments.